My formula for success is commitment, dedication, and empowering one with education. And just continuously trying out the different things that one learns from theory, apply to practice, try different things. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Try something else until you get it right. That's just my formula. I've recently learned that there isn't something called a work-life balance. So I balance my world according to my needs, my demands, basically my world. So to give you an example, I have had to resign myself from cooking. So I cook occasionally because my kids felt that I spend too much time in the kitchen. Whereas my cue was I gotta cook a lot of food for them for the week, so that's okay for the week while I'm at work. So I basically look at what I'm able to do and apply myself accordingly. I don't drop off my kids every day at school, so that's how I balance my world. I pick and choose some days that I'm able to, but at least I do 2 times and once a week pick up. Work-wise, I just plan my week. Every Sunday evening, actually that's when I start working, I plan my week ahead. I'm generally a person that challenges myself, so I question myself in everything I do. I always ask myself, is this the best I can give of me? So in everything I do, I read up, I do a lot of research in every area of something I'm working on, every area of my life, personal as well. So I read a lot, and from the reading I learn what I can apply, and I like to try out different things as I highlighted earlier. So what I learn from what I've read, I apply it into my practical world, whether I can work or at home, and that's how I just innovate and just get creative. And like I said, I always question what I deliver. Is this the best I can do? And that's how I stay ahead of what I feel is the game. Making decisions, I think, is one of the most challenging tasks that any leader has got to take. So you got to be able to live up to the decision you make. You got to be able to stand for the decision you make. So what I tend to do, I look at facts. I try to take emotions out of any situation that I'm in where I'm required to make decisions. I look at facts, I look at stats, and from there then I make a conclusion that will lead me to whatever the decision I have to take is. I'm known as a game changer. I'm known as a transformational leader. And that for me, it means making a difference or transforming any situation, any item from its current form into a desired form. That's my trademark. I'm a transformational leader.
The formula for success, in my opinion, is confidence and self-belief. I also believe that one has to have the attitude of never giving up. Learn from your mistakes. Give a little bit of yourself, listen to people, hear what they're saying, get to know them, build up your network of colleagues and mentors. And I think that's basically my recipe. It means that you need to rely on the people around you to help you with the job at hand and to trust them to do it properly. I also believe that you need to give yourself time out. I believe though that it is also dependent on where you are in your career. So if you are still climbing the ladder of success, you will have to put more time in. You may even have to put more time in than others would. It is important to do that, but it is also important then to put in those extra hours whilst not stealing from your loved ones and your own personal life. So, for example, what I do, for example, it works for me, it won't work for everybody. is I would get up in the mornings at 4 o'clock, work at my home, in my room. Nobody is awake at that time. You get a lot of things done. Nobody's calling you. Everybody else is still sleeping. So that to me is very, very helpful. By the time I get to work, I've caught up on things. I have my day sorted. I have thought about my day, and I can go to work, go to the office, and get things done. One also needs to learn when to say no. There are many demands, and modern life is very fast. There is no way one can work day and night, weekends in and out, without having a break. So sometimes it needs to be said, that small word no. Keeping up with change is firstly to be willing to change. Life, especially in modern life, is changing all the time, and it's changing ever faster. So one needs to be able to read the environment. We all work in an environment, and you can only read the environment if you listen. If you listen to people, if you listen to conversations, if you listen to people's views. You do need to read a little bit about what's happening, and then you need to start thinking about it. So firstly, you need to interpret the environment, but secondly, you need to keep on challenging yourself, keep on doing introspection. What is it that you are doing today that is making your world, your career a success? Will this be good enough going forward? What is going forward going to look like? And what do I need to do? How do I need to change with that world, and in fact to be an agent of change? I think that it's important to be an agent of change as well. Don't do what everybody else does. I have 2 sons, and since the day when they were born, I have always told them, don't be like everybody else, be yourself, do what you want to do, be different. I still believe that that is very good advice. Doesn't mean go against all odds, but it does mean thinking out of the box and changing and being an agent of change. It almost relates to when I said one needs to have a balance between your personal life and your career or your work life. Now, what I'm going to say now is almost a contradiction to that, because what I do is thinking. So I keep on thinking, even if I sit on my patio with my dog and my cat and my glass of wine, I keep on thinking about it and thinking, what if? How can we tackle this thing differently? So I then sometimes come up with ideas, and that is when I soundboard it off my mentors, my board members, my colleagues, fellows in the industry. Soundboarding and eventually, sharing with them what I'm thinking of potential solutions. And that is when you get the buy-in from people, and that is when you know that you're making a good decision. I've been in the industry quite for a long time, so I think I'm known for a few things. But what I believe I'm known for is the passion for my job and the passion for the insurance industry. And I think that is a key factor in being happy in the industry and in my career.
My formula for success is very simple. I know that there'll be people out there that are going to be far more smarter than I am, far more experienced than I am, and obviously novices in the industry. But I believe that my formula to success is that no one will be able to outwork me. I pride myself on having a good, strong work ethic, and I believe that hard work is going to be my differentiator and my formula to success. I'd love to say that my life is in complete balance and I know how to balance personal and professional life, but it's not the case. I work an 18-hour day, so the time that I have for my family is very limited, and I choose to use that wisely. And within my 18-hour day, I try to take on activities and tasks that are fueled towards my end vision and my end goal in terms of the greater purpose. So that's how I try to manage things from both professional and the personal level. For me, I believe a rolling stone gathers no moss, and that sort of philosophy needs to maintain in your business life all the time. Because if you are at any point in time or in your career you stagnant or you feel a sense of comfortability, you must know that you're not growing. And when you're not growing, you're not innovating. What I try to do is to always remain in a state of uncomfortability where I know that I need to push myself to get more and to achieve better results and to innovate and to be a better me than I was yesterday and to help guide my organization to be a better organization than it was yesterday. I have a framework within which I reference, and for me, I believe that a compass needs to point true north. So that's the first thing. When it comes to making a decision, the first question that I ask myself, will this allow my compass to point true north? Is there any variant in that? And if there's a variant in that, that's the first step that I take to help stop or to refrain or to disqualify that particular decision that I'm making. The next is this decision that I'm going to make, is it leading to the bigger picture, which is performance with a purpose? Does it allow our organization growth? Does it allow the individual's growth? Is there a win in it for all parties that are involved? Because what I've come to find is if there's an imbalance and if there's a win for only one party, then it's the wrong decision to make. In your decision making process, you always need to ensure that there is a win in it for all parties, to ensure that all parties are motivated to work together, to work in synergy, and to achieve the end results and end goals. I think for me, what I'm known for is my commitment, my attention to detail, my passion for what I do. And I think if you had to gather any group of friends or colleagues that have done business with me or I engage with on both the personal level and on a corporate level, for me, it's my passion for what I do. That is my hip pocket skill.
I think listening to and consult with your peers as well as your subordinates, and not be afraid to ask a question, because I don't believe that there's anything, I don't believe there's a stupid question or a silly question. If you don't ask, you'll never know. So it's really getting opinions from people around you, because I firmly believe no one knows everything, and I think that is, and listening. I think the two are interlinked. So for me, I would rather get to work at 9 o'clock and work until 7 o'clock. So I am a firm believer of doing some sort of physical exercise or so in the morning, because it just clears the mind. It gives you the opportunity to prepare yourself for the day, and over weekends it's a matter of saying, when you leave the office on a Friday, you need to dedicate time to your family. And on a Saturday, on a Sunday evening, you will then start sitting down, just reflecting on the week that was, and start preparing for the week ahead. But I think it's important that the one does not take preference over the other, because I think work-life balance is so important for one's well-being. To innovate becomes more and more difficult. So I really think, again, it becomes consulting with people around you, and making sure that what you're innovating is going to make a difference, because sometimes you could innovate for the sake of innovate and add absolutely no value. So it's really trying, when you introduce something that's new, make sure that it's going to add value and it's going to touch the people that it is intended to. I think as a start, the most important thing is to listen and understand what the question, if you like, is, to be able to allow you to make the decision, and not be afraid to consult, whether it be with your peers or your subordinates. And once you have consulted widely, to actually try and conclude to get an answer that is best suited to whatever you've got to respond to. And I think sometimes you can consult widely and you would still go with your original gut feel or response to what needs to happen. I think, to coin the phrase, thinking on my feet, again, listening to people and not being afraid to make a decision and then live by and follow through on that decision.
I don't believe there is necessarily a formula for success. I think you need to establish what success means to you. Success means different things to different people, and I think it's important that we don't box success into something that we think it should be, but rather what we would like it to be. So I think, for me, the formula of success is around having a very well balanced life that allows me to do things that I love, that allows me to have great experiences. But success, we must just be cautious that we don't box it into something, because for some people success is putting your children through university and then you've achieved something really great, or buying a home, owning land, having a job. I think we need to just be very cautious that we don't make it around status, but rather make it around what your ambitions are. Balancing your life between personal and business is not easy. My experience is that you need to have a strong team of people. You cannot achieve what you want to achieve without a strong team. You need to invest in people around you, and you need to enable the people around you to do what they can do, and you can do what you can do. But you cannot have a balanced life if you don't have a strong team. So I apply a couple of principles in my daily life, one of them being agility. I think it's important that we realize sooner rather than later that in the world today you've got to be a jack of all trades and a master of all. You cannot think that your role is limited to a specific function, but rather be open-minded to experiencing new things, trying new things. I think, believing in yourself and realizing that some days are better than others. Today you will do something really great and you'll feel that you've really achieved something, and tomorrow you'll fall short and you realize that there's more to learn. So it's about just, being open-minded to the full experience and, opening yourself to different things. I base it on facts. I think it's something that we really need to be cautious of, that we don't make decisions based on what we think or what we hear, but that we rather base these strategic decisions on facts. And in our industry, we have a shortage of data that helps us make informed decisions. But that is an area that we need to address as an industry. But for me personally, it needs to be fact-based. Oh goodness, so I've tested that with 2 people last night. I said, what would you consider that to be? And I got some strange responses. My passion, my energy, my optimism. I don't give up easily. But I think most importantly is the humanity side of it, and just loving diversity, loving people, and appreciating that everybody makes a contribution. It doesn't make a difference where you are.